Okay, so I have never done bowling content in my whole life, but you know, the years go by and things get more and more rare to see, and I felt like it's my obligation to contribute to like the digital museum, of the golden age of bowling. Well, this is the post golden age of bowling, but anyways, this is a track synergy core, an actual core, one of those original high differential cores, that used to flare to the thumb and beyond. And how about that? So I'll roll it all around. So this is the original Pearl. It's not the ETS. And you can see I damaged it a little bit trying to get the core out years and years ago. You can see some of the shell, the resin on there. I used the thumb slug years ago. This ball was drilled strong. You can kind of see the weight hole where that penetrated. That's where the extra hole was back when extra holes were legal. I'll flip it around. That's the bottom puck. And just got a data warning on my phone. That's the bottom puck, nice and smooth. A little bit of resin still on there. Flip it over there. And there you go. With the holes nicely in them. So I know there's a lot of cores out there, where people say, this is what's in a bowling ball. But that core was never actually in a bowling ball. This core was in a bowling ball. My bowling ball. That won me some pretty cool titles. Love this ball. This was like the second ball out of the bag when the solid kind of, was picking up too early, and this thing was Pearl, had a decent shine on it, and used to push, turn the corner deep down lane, or deeper down lane. This ball still hooked a lot. This was a hook monster. I mean, if you saw Dave D'Entremont throw this ball way back in the day when he was banking it off the gutter, I think in the PBA National Championship, I mean, that ball was coming through the rack like a train. A lot of people won with this ball many years ago. People were smoking the lanes with this ball. Steve Hoskins won in, I think, what is the name of that place? I think it was Don Carter's Sawgrass way back. I think it was the Choice Hotels Classic, they called it, something like that. Playing a big old hook shot and had a bunch in a row. Steve Wilson won, I think the Quaker State 250 and back in 96 with this ball. I'm trying to think of other people who won with it. I'm trying to think of people who made the show. D'Entremont won with it. D'Entremont made at least a couple of shows with this ball, with throwing this ball on TV at least. I don't know if he made the show with it. Butch Soper was throwing this on TV. John Mazza. Yeah, as a matter of fact, when John Mazza got beat by Bob Learn at the flagship, I think Mazza got beat by Bob Learn. Well, Mazza was throwing it. Mazza made it look nice too. So yeah, this was a great ball back in the day. It was not as crazy as the Aftershock. I think the Aftershock used to flare more. But this ball was kind of like a step down from the Aftershock and the flare. The other thing is, this ball has the ceramic core in it. I think those were banned. I don't know. So anyways, that's a bowling ball core. One of the first original high differential cores that won a lot on tour. These are real life cheater cores. These are the originals. These things made the balls do things that were like literally cheating. Way big, for people who don't know, there is such a big difference between those original low differential cores and the 3-piece cores and even the original 2-piece cores like you had in the, like the Cobra, the Nitro, things like that. When they started going to flare kind of like eats up carry down. That's a story for another video. But I hated these balls. I hated resin. And somebody might say, yeah, but you had one of these, and this is a straight-up cheater ball. It's like, yeah, because everybody else had cheater balls, too. Everybody else I was bowling against had, like, danger zones, and, I mean, which were, oh, God. That Power Coil 18 cover with that crazy core in it, man, that was a wicked combo. People were crushing it with Danger Zones. This was my only way to fight back. Well, one of my only ways, but this ball helped me fight back against all those cheaters, all those resin cheaters back then. As a matter of fact, like I said, I kind of call this ball a fake ball, even though it did me a lot of good. This ball is a real ball. That's a Manhattan rubber. Drilled at McMahon's Pro Shop, probably somewhere in New Jersey. Maybe Vince McMahon was in the drilling bowling balls before, running the WWE. I highly doubt that. But this is a real ball. No crazy cheater core in there. And real crazy. Oh, great Manhattan rubber story. If you know who you are, give it a thumbs up. So I had a friend when I was in the juniors. He had a Manhattan rubber ball as a spare ball. I was like, oh, cool. Because everybody else had plastic. Like if people had a spare ball, I didn't have a spare ball. But if people had a spare ball, a lot of people had like plastic, right? White dots and target zones and all that kind of nonsense. Clear Wolf, I had a Clear Wolf. I had a couple of them. He had a Manhattan rubber ball, so he stood out. Well, it turns out that he supposedly shot 800 with a Manhattan rubber ball sanctioned. I think it was his only 800. Shot 800 with a Manhattan rubber ball around the mid-90s. So congrats to him. I have not heard of anybody shooting 800 with a Manhattan rubber ball since that, ever. So you know who you are, because I don't think you're involved in bowling anymore. I haven't seen you in many, many years. I didn't see you at any of the money tournaments. But if you are, and you know who you are, you're that dude who shot 800 with a rubber ball. Thumbs up to you, man. Well done years ago. I thought maybe someone else would come along and do it. I have not heard of anybody do it since. You were a great bowler. Anyways, thanks.